Hi, this is Greg Jolly with the OHSU REDCap team. In this video, we'll be talking about using REDCap for e-consent when you have an information sheet and a participant signature is required. Instructions are included with the OHSU REDCap templates. This video is intended to be a supplement to those instructions. The templates themselves were developed in collaboration with the OHSU IRB in order to meet the requirements for the use of electronic consent at OHSU. Now, REDCap e-consent survey is simply a digital version of the paper consent form that has been approved by the IRB. This video is intended for a project builder who is creating an e-consent in their REDCap project for an information sheet with a participant signature. In this video, we will cover where to find the template, how to edit the template, editing the survey settings, and configuring the e-consent framework settings in PDF Snapshot. The e-consent templates can be found in three places. You can download a template zip from the OHSU REDCap wiki. You can follow the link e-consent guidance, which is included in the left-hand navigation menu of every REDCap project. You can download the templates from the REDCap shared library. Simply search by the term OHSU to find those templates. Or you could also already have a consent form included in your REDCap project because it was selected in one of the new project templates when your project was requested. And now let's jump over into the REDCap software and get a look at the information sheet and authorization template. In this overview section, we will cover the different components of the information sheet and authorization template. The REDCap information sheet and authorization template is intended to be an electronic version of the IRB's paper information sheet and authorization template. As with all the consent templates, this includes the template tag here to help you identify the template. The REDCap templates for e-consent include specific fields and formatting developed to ensure researchers comply with OHSU e-consent requirements. Scrolling further down, we have the OHSU logo here, which is required. And then there are fields to copy and paste in your IRB approved consent form language. In addition, there are fields where the REDCap template has changed for the electronic survey format. These include the version field here, which is required and hidden from participant view via action tags. Please do not remove or modify the action tags here. Also, another instance where the template has been modified for electronic survey format is the participant's consent decision and signature. You'll note that there are colored instructional fields throughout the template. These should be deleted after you have read through the instructions and completed the task described therein. Also, at the top of the form, there is the project pre-check field. This is intended to be a reminder that the person who is completing this template is the project point person who's completed both basics and survey training. The project is on the supported service for research support track. The point person has completed self-service e-consent training on the wiki, and that they've selected the correct e-consent template to match the paper form approved by the IRB. This field can be deleted after you have ensured that all of those requirements have been met. Finally, the production changes field. This is intended for the reference of the point person when revisions to the e-consent survey are required after the project has moved to production. Please do not remove this field or the action tags associated with it. This concludes the template overview. We'll now move on to editing the template. There are 5 steps involved in editing the template. Step 1 is to open your paper form. You must have a paper form in order to begin filling out the template. The information sheet with signature that we'll be using for this video is for demonstration purposes only. Step 2, begin editing the template. First, coming to the project pre-check field, once you are certain that all these requirements have been met, delete this field. Moving on to the fields for e-consent management, the production changes link here is strictly for the reference of the point person for when revisions need to be made to the e-consent survey after it has moved to production. Please do not remove this field. Moving on, the ICF version field is essential for managing revisions to the e-consent form over time. When initially filling out a template, this field notes the IRB approved version of the paper consent that was transformed to the e-consent survey at the time the project was moved to production. Versions can either be dates or numbers or a combination of both. We commonly see this format used. So in order to update this, I will edit the field, copy from my paper form, paste, and save. Once you have updated this field, you can remove the version instruction field. Please note that managing revisions to the e-consent survey after the project has been moved to production will be covered in a separate training video. For approval and expiration dates, I will follow the same process. We'll edit the field, copy from my paper form, paste to replace this placeholder text, and fix any formatting. And save. That looks good. I can now delete this instructional field and move on to the OHSU logo. In some instances, when downloading a copy of the template into your project, the OHSU logo might be broken and not appear. If that is the case, we've included instructions here on how to find a fresh copy of the logo and edit the field properly to display it. The logo is intact here, so I'm going to just delete this instructional field and move on. And now we can talk about consent language. As with the previous fields, we will just edit this field and copy from the paper form. I'll begin with the IRB number. Copy and paste. Again, fixing any formatting. Move on to my title. Copy over my PI and contact information. And in the case of the co-investigator, I only have one here. So I will copy, paste, and then remove this placeholder text. Save, and move on to my next field, who is paying for this study? We have this field on our paper form, so we can copy again from there, edit the field, paste, and save. Move on to our next field. Do any of the researchers have a conflict of interest with this study? Looking at my paper form, This section has no information for me to copy over. So in that instance, I will just return to the template and delete this field. Similarly, if I had a section on the paper form that did not appear on the template, I would just copy one of these existing fields and make edits to the title and the text of the section to match whatever was included on the paper form. The whole idea with the template is that you are just doing whatever you need to do to make it match what the IRB has approved on your paper form. And you'll repeat in this fashion for all the remaining fields on the template. I'm going to go ahead and fill in the rest of these things, and then we'll pick back up on the consent decision. I've finished filling in the remaining fields on the template, which brings us to the consent decision. The consent decision is captured via a radio button. This field is required. Please do not change the field type from a radio button or remove the requiredness of this field. You will need to edit the field labels here or choice labels here to match your paper form. In this case, what's on the template directly matches what is on my paper form, so I need to make no further edits here. I will now delete the consent decision instruction field. And move on to the signature. The participant's signature is collected via separate first name and last name text fields. Branching logic is applied to these fields, so the signature fields are only displayed if a participant agrees to participate. OHSU does not use wet signatures. Please do not change the field type from a text box to any other field or remove the requiredness of these fields. I will now delete the instructional field. Also, please do not add a date field capturing the date of consent that's intended for the participant to fill out. Per the IRB, the timestamp captured by REDCap on the PDF is the date of consent. I'll now use this opportunity to scroll back through my form and remove any instructional fields, which I haven't done already. And also, I'll scan through my fields and look for any formatting that doesn't look correct, such as this field. There are some large gaps with these bullets, and I think we can clean that up. This sometimes happens when you copy out of something like a Word document and paste into REDCap. Sometimes the formatting won't come across correctly. What we can do to fix this is use REDCap's rich text editor. We can delete these bullet spaces here, clean this up. That, and then looks like there's extra space here, so I'll remove that and save. Now that looks much better. And with that, we will move on to step 3, which is editing the survey settings. To access the survey settings, you can either scroll to the top of the page and click the survey settings button here, or there's also a button on the Online Designer page. For the survey title, follow the format of agreement to participate and then the name of your study. I will grab mine from my paper form, copy, paste over this placeholder text. Then moving on to the survey instructions. For survey instructions, the best practice is to include an IRB-approved introduction explaining e-consent. It's also recommended that the IRB-approved introduction includes study team contact info. Please note that any language in the survey instruction text must be IRB-approved. Scrolling down. For survey theme, accept the default setting or set to flat white to preserve the professionalism of the agreement form. For question numbering, leave this set to custom number. For pagination, please leave this set to single page. For allow participants to download a PDF of their responses at the end of the survey, please set this to yes as a best practice. For required fields, display red must provide value text on the survey page, accept the default setting of yes. Scrolling down further. For allow save and return later option for respondents, please accept the default setting of no. For auto continue to the next survey, please leave this box unchecked. And for survey completion text, the best practice is to include study team contact info, but please note that just like the survey instructions and any participant-facing messaging, any language in the survey completion text must be IRB approved. After making those edits, we will scroll to the bottom and click Save Changes. And now we will move on to step 4, configuring e-consent framework and PDF snapshot. The e-consent framework provides the tools to preserve the integrity of the consent form as required by the IRB. It does this by not allowing the form to be edited, by erasing the participant signature in the event that someone tries to click the back button on their browser from the certification page, and also by requiring the participant's certification of the signed consent form. We will also configure REDCap to capture a PDF of the participant's completed e-consent survey. We will do this by a tool called PDF Snapshot. You can access the e-consent framework via the button e-consent and PDF Snapshot on the online designer here. But please note that PDF Snapshot will have its own button in future versions of REDCap. Click the green Enable the e-consent framework for a survey button. And from the drop-down here, select your e-consent survey. Under Primary Settings, leave the box Allow e-consent responses to be edited by users unchecked. For the first name field, please select ICF_FName from the drop-down. For last name field, select ICF_LName. For the option Force signature fields to be erased if participant clicks previous page button while on the certification page, in signature field number 1, select ICF_FName. Click the button to select another signature field and select ICF_LName here. Moving on to the PDF snapshot settings. For locations to save the signed consent snapshot, please accept the default settings here, as well as for snapshot file name. Accept default settings there. We will save these settings, and we get our confirmation that our edits were saved. Now we move on to step 5, testing the e-consent survey. To test your e-consent survey, come over to Add Edit Records, and then click Add New Record. In the upper right-hand corner, click Save and Stay, and OK at this pop-up. From the Survey Options dropdown, select Open Survey. This will show you your e-consent survey exactly as the participant will see it. At this point, you'll want to review all the language on your consent form to make sure it matches what is on your approved paper form. And you'll also want to review the survey settings, such as the title and survey instructions, to make sure that you followed the template guidance. Scroll to the bottom and select, yes, I would like to participate in the study. Enter your first and last name and click Next Page. We now see the certification screen provided by the e-consent framework. Please review the signed form here, and then check this box to certify it is accurate, and Submit. Here we see our survey completion text and the option to download a copy of the consent form. Close the survey here and click Leave without saving changes. And now we want to confirm PDF Snapshot has stored a copy of the completed consent survey. So we can come over to the file repository, click on the PDF Snapshot archive, and here we can see the PDF copy of the consent form. Download that and open. And scrolling through here, we can see that we have captured both the date of consent as well as the participant's name in the footer of the PDF as required by the IRB. So we've now confirmed that our eConsent framework and PDF snapshot settings are working properly. In conclusion, we've completed all the steps related to filling out the information sheet and authorization template in REDCap. Links to both the REDCap wiki and all eConsent training materials are linked in the left-hand navigation menu of every REDCap project. Please sign up for drop-in when you're ready for the REDCap team to take a look at your information sheet with participant signature and to get our first look at the project. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. We hope it's helpful, and we'll see you at drop-in.